Welcome back. Time for the news in full. Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri and Sudan's Foreign Minister Mariam Al-Sadiq Al-Mahdi held a joint press conference in Cairo on Tuesday. Following their talks, Shukri and Al-Mahdi discussed the Ethiopian dam and issues of mutual concern. Shukri said discussions over the GERD aimed to reach a fair agreement. He said bilateral ties were also the focus of the talks, adding that the economic component is very important in boosting ties between the two sides. He said there are vast chances of cooperation with Sudan in the fields of education, agriculture and the economy. For her part, Al-Mahdi said Egypt supports Sudan before all international bodies. She said that during the talks there was agreement to reach a legal deal over the filling and operation of the dam. She said Ethiopia lacks a political will to reach a deal, and that is why it is taking unilateral decisions. She said the first and second filling of the dam stresses the seriousness of the situation. Al-Mahdi also said both sides seek expanding bilateral ties. Earlier, Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri said Sudan's Foreign Minister Mariam Sadiq Al-Mahdi held talks in Cairo on Tuesday. At a joint statement following their talks, they stressed the importance of reaching a binding legal deal over the filling and operation of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. More details with the following report. Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri and Sudan's Foreign Minister Mariam Al-Sadiq Al-Mahdi held talks in Cairo on Tuesday. At a joint statement following their talks, they stressed the importance of reaching a binding legal deal over the filling and operation of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. They said they backed reaching such a deal that would protect the interests of the three countries and preserve the water rights of Egypt and Sudan and limit the harms on the two downstream countries. They also stressed that Cairo and Khartoum have a serious political will to achieve this aim as soon as possible. They said they appreciate efforts by South Africa during its chairmanship of the African Union in the negotiations over the GERD. They also welcomed Congo's leadership of the AU during the current round. Shukri and Al-Sadiq Al-Mahdi expressed concern over the collapse of the AU-sponsored dam talks. They said Ethiopia's announcement to start the second filling of the dam unilaterally poses a direct threat to the water security of both Egypt and Sudan. They said Cairo and Khartoum strongly back Sudan's proposal to develop the EU's negotiations mechanism by forming an international quartet including the UN, EU and US and led by Congo to mediate in the negotiations. They said there is a need to continue coordination between the two countries in the Ethiopian dam file and agreed to brief Arab countries on the latest developments with regards to the talks. On bilateral ties, the two sides discussed developing trade cooperation and fields of investment open to Egyptian companies in Sudan. Regional and international issues of mutual concern, especially development in Libya, also topped the agenda of the talks. Maritime security in the Red Sea, the Palestinian issue, and stability in Syria and Yemen were also discussed, as well as the economic repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic on African states. The Aswan Forum for Peace and Sustainable Development continues its activities on Tuesday. The forum in its second version is held through video conference due to coronavirus circumstances. It's held under the theme Formation of New Normality in Africa, Recovery in a Stronger Way and Better Reconstruction. Heads of state and government as well as senior officials and experts are attending the event. Tuesday witnesses 3 sessions. The first one is over women and peace and security in Africa during the coronavirus pandemic and afterwards. The second session discusses activating structural protection in Africa, and the third session is held under the title Swift Economic Recovery for Structural Transformation. Earlier, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi addressed the second Aswan Forum for Sustainable Peace and Development. In his speech made via video conference, President el-Sisi said that the continent is still suffering from conflicts that undermine development efforts and called for unified efforts to settle the ongoing conflicts. Other African leaders addressed the opening session via video conference. The representatives of the Coordination of Youth Parties and Politicians, the CPYP, in the Parliament and the Senate, extended their sincere thanks and gratitude to President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi for his directives to postpone the implementation of Law Number 186 of 2020, amending the real estate registration law for a transitional period of no less than 2 years in order to provide the opportunity and time for community dialogue. MPs of the CPYP appreciate the President's call to establish a real community dialogue aimed at presenting serious proposals regarding the Egyptian real estate registration system through smooth administrative procedures and through fees that take into account the achievement of social justice. Army Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Mohammed Farid heads a senior military delegation in the Egyptian Sudanese Military Committee meetings in the Sudanese capital Khartoum. The committee is headed by Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Mohammed Farid and his Sudanese counterpart. The Chief of Staff holds a number of meetings during his visit to Khartoum, focusing on military cooperation and strategic partnership between the two countries. Moving to our update on the coronavirus, the Ministry of Health reported 586 new coronavirus cases and 48 deaths. The ministry said in a statement that the number of recoveries has exceeded 141,000. The statement said the ministry is still on high alert across the country in an anticipation of any developments over COVID-19 or any possible contagious disease. Moving to China, still with the coronavirus update, China aims to vaccinate 40% of its population against COVID-19 by the end of July, requiring a significant increase in inoculations even as